All right, welcome back to the channel. And for those that are coming here for the first time, thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I do try and provide content at least a couple times a week, or at least that's my goal from this point forward. So I know that there's a lot of I get a lot of hate from the uh, the JK supporters. And it's not personal. It's not, I've had people, accuse me of having a personal vendetta against JK. I mean, I don't. I really, their product has a place in the market. I mean, the product, they may have some quality control issues, and I don't know, what the extent of that is. I mean, I can only go by what I see and by what people, tell me. It seems to be higher than some of the other boot companies, and I realize and I recognize that JK is going through a change right now, or at least that's what it looks like. It looks like they're opening up other stores, kind of like maybe a Red Wing model or something like that. But their boot is constructed better than the Red Wings, and the product isn't so much of the issue I have with JK as the delivery, the presentation of the product to the masses. I would like to see them be more forthcoming with how they're rolling things out. I think some of that stuff is a little disingenuous, and I mean I'm not going to go out there and say, well, JK is purposely doing this. I mean I don't. I would like to think that they're not. But sometimes you get, well, I'll say this, because, and I don't know if this is the case, but I've seen other companies and I've worked for other companies where this is the case, and it's frustrating. If you get a bean counter in there that's trying to run things, an accountant is the worst person you could possibly get to try and run a business, because they're going to look at any which way they could possibly save money. And sometimes you got to do the work and you got to spend the money, to be competitive and to not irritate your customer base. So, JK has marketed this new production method, this 360 stitch down, as being more water resistant, or I don't know if they use the word waterproof, but being more water resistant. But they're not. You would think if that's what they're trying to get across, the point they're trying to get across, then you would think they would be more upfront with that and they would showcase that. They'd put that on the main page, new construction method, and so the fact that they're not doing that, I mean, it leads people to believe that, what are you hiding? And you may not be hiding anything, but it's just appearances are everything. So when you put that there's a new construction method, in the last place in the specifications, and then you've got a thumbnail that's like dang near at the bottom, and I'm talking about the Super Duty or the Fire Inlander. So when you look at, when your screen first comes up, you see the Fire Inlander or the Super Duty, and then you see some thumbnails, and if you scroll up, then you'll see that there's something that talks about the 360 stitch down. But I don't understand why you don't show a picture of it in the main screen and then showcase that. I mean, run with it. If that's what you're doing, I mean, there's no reason to bury it. I mean, just run with that. And if you're worried about, if you're not in the same market with the other ones, which most people, and I'm not going to rehash that because people know what my position is on that. But if you're worried about that, then do something else to make it more palatable. And I really don't know what that would be at this point. You're showing pictures of a traditional um, build or Pacific Northwest build, the auto white build, after they switched from all nail down to stitch down. If if that's something that you're trying to compete with, I mean, maybe you have a line that is built that way so that you can service, or provide a service or product for those customers. And yeah, sometimes it's difficult to double back, but there's always a way to double back and present it in a way that is, you know, that makes it, um, that showcases it, that makes people take notice, and save face at the same time. Like, I guess the thing that I thought of was if JK was going to bring back um, the like the build that it used to be, instead of the 360 stitch down, the 270 stitch down. And you talk about coming back or returning. What figure in history? Now, some of the new kids aren't going to know this because I don't think they teach it in school. But Gen X, we know all about this. And there may be some other generations that know about it too. But what's one figure in history that you can point to about something or about returning? It's MacArthur, right? So when he was ordered to leave the Philippines and go to Australia, he said, "I will be back," or "I will return," I guess is what he said. I'll be back. That was Arnold Schwarzenegger. I will return. And when he came back in 44, he said, "I have returned." So maybe you have a boot called the MacArthur or something like that, and you return that build. I mean, it's just a thought. I'm just throwing it out there. I mean, I don't hate JK. I just don't like the way they market their product and some of the practices that they have. I wish they would change some of that stuff, and so the customer would feel more comfortable in doing business with them. Because, like I said, I mean, you can see it. There are people actively out there trying to combat it and trying to counter it, and they're busy all the time. It shouldn't be that way. Don't wear your people out. Come up with some sort of a battle plan, stick to it, and a um, if there is an accountant that's making all the decisions, yeah, get rid of that guy. I mean, tell him to go, in his own lane. You don't need an accountant running your business because they will literally piss off all your customers. They'll bare bone everything because that's how their mind works. Save money, save money, save money. Increase profits, increase profits. And then pretty soon, the customer is left holding the bag, and it's a bag full of, what they did not expect. And then you piss people off, and you get a one and done. You want return customers. So, and listen, I'm not preaching at JK. I mean, they're large enough that they've made some inroads, and they're making progress in opening stores and stuff. But gee whiz, I mean, just make it make sense, because some of the stuff just doesn't compute. I mean, it doesn't make sense. But I just wanted to throw that out there because I mean, I don't hate JK, even though it comes across that way. I just do not like the methods in the presentation of the product. I just would feel more comfortable if they would be more, open and honest. I won't say honest. I'll say open, more open with the customer, because they are being honest. It's just they could do it a little better and be more upfront with it. So, you know, um, to all the JK customers and JK, itself, my intention was not to, dress down your product. I mean, like I said, I think your product has a place in the market, and where that place sits, I'll keep that opinion to myself. People already know it. No use rehashing it. But just maybe take some things into consideration in your marketing. That's the only thing I have to say about it. But if you have any questions or anything, don't hesitate to reach out. I'll be glad to get back to you, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Again, thanks for watching. Have a great day.